Welcome back to the Damn Sports Podcast. Hope you guys have had a great week. And I'm going to say something now with everything going on with me playing football and a bunch of other stuff, and with our games being on Friday. I don't think I'm going to be able to do Friday podcast anymore. I think I'm just going to stay at Monday podcast. I'm more consistent with the Monday ones anyway. Sometimes I don't do the Fridays, and just because I end up being way too tired from just life and football in general and just other things. And now with the games coming up and everything, there's no way I'm going to be able to go play a game and then come home and then do a podcast. There's just no way. It's going to be too much. I'm going to end up going to sleep at like 1 o'clock, and I don't want that. I want to be able to give you guys a really good podcast and be have life in me, not just be super tired from the game and a bunch of other stuff like that. So I want you guys to enjoy it. I don't want you guys to have just some not mumbling, but like just like half dead, like, hey guys, how you doing today, like stuff like that. I want to give you guys something good. I want you guys to enjoy it. So off of that, we have a lot to talk about because of everything that happened the last time we talked. It was Monday. So I am going to start with the NBA, and I'm kind of sad it's over because it is something that I really love to talk about, and obviously the NBA is really fun to watch. So it's going to be, and we don't know when it's coming back. We don't know, like, it's going to be next year, Adam Silver says, but he doesn't give us a timetable. Is it going to be like October next year, or are they going to try to do it earlier? Like, I don't know if the schedule of the NBA in general is just going to be completely changed. So we'll see, I guess. But we'll start with Tuesday with Game 4 of the NBA Finals, with the Lakers winning 102-96. It was a close game, obviously, with the score. Obviously, you can tell by the score. But Anthony Davis had a good game. So did LeBron, the usual cast. The biggest thing was like KCP and Danny Green kind of stepped up, especially KCP. Stepped up more, hit more of his threes, and played really good defense. A couple other things like that, mostly. And then just without Dragic is still a big issue. And this is Bam's first game back, I want to say. Yeah, I want to say this is Bam's first game back. So he's kind of trying to get back into everything, trying to get back in the finals mentality. And then no Dragic is an issue for them, obviously. So it's going to be tough. Jimmy Butler had a good game with 22, 10, and 9. He almost had a triple-double off of that big game he had the game before. So it's just, he did what he could. Even Tyler Hero had 21. Duncan Robinson had 17. Bam still coming off. He only shot 8 shots, which is kind of an issue, but still coming off of the injury and everything like that, he put up 15. So he didn't do bad. It's just the Lakers are the Lakers, and they're that two-headed monster of LeBron and AD is just really, really, really hard to guard, obviously. So it's something you have to work through and get by, because that's the only way they could have won the game, won the series. Game 5 is another Jimmy Butler masterpiece to watch with 111-108 Miami, with Jimmy Butler dropping 35, 12, and 11. This is the first time, I want to say, ever. It was either this game or the first one we had 40, that he outscored LeBron, out-rebounded, and out-assisted LeBron in a, here, let me look, actually. Not out-rebounded, but he out-assisted and outscored LeBron in the first one where he scored 40 in a finals game and won. He was the first person to ever do that, which is crazy to think about, because LeBron is obviously LeBron James, and he does everything for you, offensive and defensively, just being able to score, pass, rebound, and just do a lot of other things. So Jimmy Butler doing that is obviously incredible. And then obviously him willing his team to a win alongside Duncan Robinson's 26. And Kendrick Nunn also stepped up a little bit off the bench with 24 points, nothing crazy, but he did have some valuable minutes. This is our decent game for Bam. He did shoot more, but he only scored 13. And with 4 rebounds, it's kind of an issue. You can't really have your center having only 4 rebounds. It's really bad for them. So somebody needs to step up. And Jimmy Butler literally played every single minute of this game, all 47. That is the only, that is incredible for him. Like, he never really was able to sit down. He sat down for maybe a couple seconds, but that's it. Like, nothing crazy. So, obviously, if you saw the post-game interview, you saw how exhausted and how hurt and just he was after it. Like, he put everything into this. He really, really, really wanted to get into this and win this series. So, he did what he could. But there's only so much you can do when you have LeBron and AD. They did win this game, and it did make it very interesting. And thinking, oh, it's 3-2 now. Maybe the Heat make this interesting. Maybe we get Game 7, a couple other things. And LeBron shut that down with a blowout, 106-93. At one point, the Lakers were up by 30. So, yeah. LeBron said, no, sir. We're not losing this series. We're not letting the Heat come back and even have a shot at it. We're going to stuff this right here, right now, call it a day. Even though you have Dragic back. We don't care if you have Dragic back. He ain't doing nothing, which he did. He only had 5. He went 2 for 8, only had 5 points. Don't get me wrong. He did tear something in his foot. So, in fairness, it's a bit hard for him to just come back and play very well, especially in the finals when they need him to, so it's hard. So, I don't blame him too much or anything like that, but it was rough watching this game. Jimmy Butler still played 45 minutes this game. He only put up 12, 7, and 8, which isn't awful. Bam had a big game, 25 and 10, but you can't do much when you're literally they're getting blown out by like 30 in the second quarter. It's hard to watch. Very hard to watch. LeBron had 14 rebounds, 10 assists, and 28 points. Like, LeBron has games like that. It's very little chance you're winning that game. Very, very little. So, you can't be too mad at him, but at the same time, the Heat did what they could. They really made it interesting, and no one thought they'd ever get here. A lot of people, like, I know people that didn't even see them beating Milwaukee, which, if you didn't watch basketball and you know basketball like that, I don't know, would tell you that's the only reason you didn't see them beating Milwaukee, because the Heat were literally built to go beat Milwaukee. So it was kind of, if you knew that, you knew they had it in check, and it had been a pretty easy series for them to win. So it did end up doing what it did end up going 7, but still, Miami was built to beat Milwaukee. They'll be all right. Yeah, not a lot of people, even if they got them going past then, they did not think they'd beat Boston. I didn't think they'd beat Boston, honestly. I thought the matchups were going to be way too hard for them to guard with Jason Tatum, Kemba, Jaylen Brown. It's just that it's going to be ridiculous. So I thought they weren't going to get it. But Jason Tatum was shooting super inefficiently. Kemba wasn't doing the greatest, especially when starting first. Jaylen Brown was the only guy that was really consistent for them and doing well. But besides that, didn't do all that much. So it really gave them a good. That's what got them here, and they did all they could. But it's LeBron and AD. You have to have somebody go off constantly. Jimmy Butler had to put up 30 to 40 every night. Like, as we saw, he had to put up 35 and 40 for them to win games, and he had to play almost every single minute of those games. So for them to win, they needed that. And you're asking a lot of Jimmy Butler for him to by himself put up 40 and 30 almost every night. He had help. No, he had help the first game, but then after that, he had no real help till like game 4 when Bam came back. So it's really hard for him to really do that all by himself. And then Duncan Robinson did what he could, obviously catching and shooting threes, but they're face guarding him with KCP and Rondo and all of them. So it's hard, but the Heat definitely made a good shot at it, and Heat fans definitely should be proud that they went as far as they did and played as well as they did. So good for them. You got to cop it out for them. They did really, really good. So no complaints here. But it was just a LeBron and AD show, especially LeBron. LeBron ends up winning Finals MVP, which personally I don't agree with. I think AD should have had it, but hey, it's LeBron. Can't be too mad, I guess. So LeBron now has 4 rings, 4 Finals MVPs. Some people are definitely calling him the GOAT now, which he has a resume for it. Don't get me wrong. It's hard. It's really hard to beat going to the finals 6 times in a row and not losing a single one and getting all Finals MVPs in every single one. That's really hard to beat. But at the same time, Mike did have a lot more first-round exits than him, so it's a bit different. But at the same time, I still wouldn't. I still personally think Mike's the GOAT for my opinion, but LeBron is definitely there. Like, I wouldn't, if you say LeBron is the GOAT, I'm not going to look like, oh, you're stupid. Nah. LeBron can definitely deserve that, and he can take that. It's okay. Like, LeBron's that guy, obviously. But now we're going to go into the NFL. We're going to start with Thursday with the Bears-Bucks game, which was kind of funny to watching both Nick Foles and Tom Brady both be on different teams in their rematch of the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? It was something interesting to watch. Bears end up winning 20-19. There was a late play. It was like the last drive for the Bucks, and Brady ends up forgetting there is a fourth down. Forgets it down after spiking it. So they end up losing because, I guess, conservative, he took a shot when he didn't want to. He probably would have checked it down and tried to get a first rather than try to take a shot down the field if he knew it was fourth down. So changes a couple of things. Maybe gives Tom Brady and Tampa a chance. Ronald Jones has a good game, 106 yards. A couple other things, but no, that was an interesting game to watch. I don't think it wasn't really too crazy, but it was weird watching Tom Brady, somebody that you know is a very, very smart guy, forget it down like that. It's something definitely different. After that, you have a upset. Jesus Christ, an upset with Dolphins 49ers 43-17. I don't know what happened to Jimmy Garoppolo. I think it's his ankle issue. He's not really able to put the power he needs to make those laser and straight line passes. He is floating everything. So Dolphins just took advantage, got like 3 picks, just went absolutely off and just absolutely destroyed San Francisco. It was ridiculous. Like, you don't think going into the game, 43-17, Miami got that, no problem. No, if someone said that to me, I would have looked at them they're absolutely dumb. Like, you were smoking something, bro. I want to know what you smoking because I want that. If you really think Miami about to go do some shit like that, no. Nope. San Fran, with all the injuries and everything like that, just is not doing well. They have the same record as Miami right now. They're just not doing well with all the injuries, and you can't blame them. Those are key injuries with Nick Bosa and when Mostert just got hurt. Jimmy G obviously isn't fully healthy. We saw they had to put up CJ Beathard in because he just isn't throwing the ball well because of his ankle, and a couple other guys. It's an issue for them, and it's going to be something hard. They got to figure out how to make work. Preston Williams 106 yards. Gesicki's looking really good this season for Miami, actually. He's had a couple big games for them, doing it pretty consistently too. So he might have a good season this year, and it might be something to watch. And he might get better and surprise some people. But yeah, this game was just ridiculous to watch. Just seeing Miami just do whatever they wanted with San Francisco. It's not something you'd think you'd see, at all. Colts and Browns game was really good too. We have the Browns 32-23. Browns just Browns are 4-1 right now. A lot of people have been doubting them. They've been they're overhyped. All this again. The Browns have found their way to win. Run the ball down people's throats, and it works. So they're just gonna keep doing it. Oh, you have Odell, Jarvis Landry. Don't matter. We have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as well. I'm running the ball down their throats and then hitting them with a play-action pass. Don't get deep down the field to Odell. He's going to make some miraculous catch, and we're going to win a game. And that's what they did. They just really did that. They ran the ball down their throats and just burned them on deep routes. I mean, they found their system, and I'm happy for them because now we can see these guys blossom because a lot of people were saying, OBJ was overhyped. He's washed. He ain't nothing. After making one play, he hasn't done shit after that. No. Y'all hating way too much on this man. OBJ really one of the best wide receivers in the league by far. No. If you don't think that, you were on something, bro. On something. Falcons fire their head coach Dan Quinn after losing another game to the Panthers. They're now 0-4. Blown 2 big leads, plus obviously 28-3 in the Super Bowl. So yeah, he kind of needed to go. Something's going on when you have the talent. You have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley had a great game this game too. Like, you have the talent to be good, but they're just not performing, and you have to figure out why. And I think they figured it out with it being probably a coaching issue, because blowing leads like that's got to be something with the coaching. It's got to be something, right? You would think. There's no way you blow that many leads, even with, say, maybe you want to blame the defense or stuff like that for just letting them score. Well, who draws up the defensive assignments and how they play defense? It's partially the coach. So something's got to be wrong there, and obviously if nothing changes and they still do really bad with a new coach or anything like that, then yes, it's the defense and you guys need to get better guys. But they want to experiment first and see what's going on, because they have the weapons to be good. Maybe not Super Bowl game, but they have weapons to be a decent team. They're just not performing. So you got to figure out what the issues are here. We also had another upset with the Raiders and Chiefs, with Derek Carr is doing really, really well this year. It's kind of surprising a lot of people. Like, Derek Carr had 347 yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 pick. Like, Derek Carr is out there, and he's doing his thing, and he's loving. Obviously, he's back with Josh Jacobs, just being able to run the ball, being a workhorse that he is. And then you had new guys like Henry Ruggs and Nelson Aguilar, and obviously Darren Waller's a familiar face, doing all very well. Obviously, Henry Ruggs being that 4.2 speed helps a lot. You can just throw it deep down the field. That's what they did. They set it up with the run, and they just threw it down the field, and Henry Ruggs just burned him. Nelson Aguilar, obviously, he's trying to redeem himself after everything he's had with the Eagles and everything, dropping balls, but he's been doing really, really good this season too. Darren Waller's picking back up off his last season, where he had a decent season, everything like that as well. So it's interesting, and Las Vegas looks really good. Even defensively, they look pretty nice with their front four, and even their secondary is pretty good with Trayvon Mullen and what's his name, Marcus Jr. and Jonathan Abram. Those guys are obviously really good in the secondary out there for him. So I think it's gonna be Las Vegas is gonna be another team that's gonna surprise some people. I think they have a good chance of making the playoffs and going somewhere. I don't know how far, but they could really surprise and just be another good team. Obviously, we saw they're a good team. They beat Kansas City, which is probably one of the best offenses in the league after the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. So definitely something worth watching and something worth thinking about and maybe seeing later. Texans finally get their first win after Bill O'Brien, which is good for them. Obviously, brings their hopes up and lets them know, yeah, Bill O'Brien just sucked as a coach and a GM, so bye-bye. And it worked out for them. You have 30-14 Jacksonville. Don't get me wrong. They played a really bad Jacksonville team, but Houston wasn't looking very good themselves, so they needed this with Deshaun, 359 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. You want to obviously put those picks down, but not bad. Duke Johnson proved his worth in this game with 96 yards rushing. So maybe, don't get me wrong, I still think the trade is awful. It's absolutely awful, but if Duke Johnson could actually perform and do stuff, it'd make it seem a little less as bad and something for them to actually work off of. Brandon Cooks had probably one of the best games ever in his career since, I want to say, the Saints era. 161 yards and a touchdown. Like, Brandon Cooks, after he's been traded to the Saints, hasn't done a whole lot of much. After the Super Bowl with the Patriots, I think when he gets absolutely rocked and after that, I don't think Brandon Cooks has really been the same. But this game showed that Brandon Cooks still got it and he can do well. Obviously, he had 161 yards and a touchdown, so he's doing what he had to do and he did well. He's still that speedster. Obviously, that's why people still get him, and these teams really like him. So obviously, as well as his veteran presence. So I'm hoping with games like this, he can kind of get back into his old shape and really be effective again and be something really, really worth watching, and it'd be awesome because I really like Brandon Cooks and I've always liked him since he played in New Orleans. So definitely gonna be fun to watch for sure. So another interesting thing with Washington, Kyle Allen gets hurt, and guess who comes in? Alex Smith, after literally snapping his whole leg in half 2 years ago. He's finally come back and played a football game. He didn't do anything crazy or anything like that, but he drove down the field. He ended up getting a field goal for Washington, and that was the last point they ever scored. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not anything crazy, but hey, if something like that happens and Alex Smith kind of gets somewhat back to his old shape, he might be decent again. He wasn't anything crazy, but it was pretty good before he snapped his leg. But I don't know how well he's going to be, obviously, because, the leg snapping thing. But it'd be nice to see Alex Smith start again and play well and do a bunch of other things, because Dwayne Haskins isn't really working out for Washington, which kind of sucks, because they did spend, obviously, a first-round pick on him when he was highly recruited, and he was supposed to be that guy, especially for the Giants and everything like that. So I don't know how Washington feels about him obviously doing nothing, not really a whole lot of much. So hopefully it gets better for him. I hope he starts picking up the pace and proving his worth, because I even thought Dwayne Haskins was good coming out of college at Ohio State. So I want him to do well, but if he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. It happens. We do have something interesting this week with a Monday game and a Tuesday game due to the COVID with the Titans and the Patriots and all that kind of other stuff. Stephon Gilmore actually has COVID now too. So it's really interesting with all that's going on with all this COVID-19 mess. And I hope this all just ends as soon as possible. We can just get over all this. Everybody just wear their mask, do what they got to do, so we can just back to normal again. And it'd be really nice. It'd be really, really nice to be back to that, because I want to, obviously, football, it also helps with that. We don't have to be the way we are with being super spread out and a couple other things. So it'd be nice to be back to it. With the Bills and Titans on Tuesday, and we also have tonight the Chargers Saints. Chargers Saints should be interesting to watch, with Sean Payton actually isn't allowing Michael Thomas, even though he's healthy now, to play because of disciplinary issues with him fighting and stuff like that. So shows that Sean Payton ain't gonna put up with, I don't care if he's one of the best receivers in the league by far, I don't care if he's gonna act like a douche, he isn't gonna play. So it shows the backbone that Sean Payton has. And then Chargers look really, really, like, they're 1-3, don't get me wrong, they're not a good team, but they look promising with Justin Herbert. They look like they have a really good future ahead of them, and it could be really, really fun to watch. So I'm down to see some Justin Herbert action tonight. He's since he's been here, since he's been in the league, he's had good games. I don't think he's really had a really bad game yet. No, he hasn't. He even dueled with the Chiefs. So Justin Herbert looks really, really good. So I think this game would be really nice to watch it tonight and see how he can dial up against that Saints defense. And then on Tuesday we have the Bills and Titans, with Titans obviously having Titans 3-0, Bills 4-0, so it's going to be, someone's going to have to lose. I think the Titans aren't going to end up losing, because Josh Allen looks like he's out of his mind right now. Like, he's playing ridiculous. He's definitely most improved. He's in the contention for MVP with Russell Wilson and all of them. So I really think he could be something really good for the Bills, and hopefully I hope he keeps getting on this track of getting better, because that's what I want to see out of him, because Josh Allen is one of those, another kind of crazy player, with him being so athletic, being big, how that big arm he has. He's kind of like Patrick Mahomes, but a bit bigger and a lot more athletic. So he's really cool to watch, and I'd find it really cool to see him just keep getting better and growing, because Josh Allen is obviously really, as I said, fun to watch. So the Titans are looking good this season too, with Tannehill being worth what he's paid, obviously, and Derrick Henry being really good as well. And then you have Jadeveon Clowney, who hasn't done a whole lot of much after being traded, but it's gonna be interesting, and seeing how all they go, because obviously 3-0, so they're doing well. So you want to see if playing against a really good team in the Bills with their defense and offense and everything, to see if they have what they take to be a real team, or if they're 3-0 because of the competition they played hasn't been all that good. So gonna be a real fun game to watch this week. And I want to say that's the end of the podcast today. It's a little shorter than it has been the past couple ones, but I've gotten everything through that I really wanted to get through, and I think I really enjoyed this one. This was nice to come back to this again after skipping on Friday just because of everything that's going on. Like I said, probably not going to be doing it anymore with everything that's going on with my sports personally, with playing football and everything, with the games being on Friday and just me being as tired as I am. I just can't. It's not going to happen. Like, I want to give you guys quality podcasts, not just some BS thing thrown together, you know what I mean? So I want to make sure it's right. So I'm just going to do Mondays for now. If I feel like I can get back on Friday, I'll just start doing them again. But for now, for sure, it's definitely going to at least be Monday, because I know Monday I can give you guys something great. It is a lot of content too. So hope you guys have a great night or day, whenever you guys are listening to this. And I really very much thank all of you that do listen to this podcast regularly and supporting me. So hope you guys do well, and thank you for everything. I very much appreciate it. Peace.